I have rated this content E for everyone.
Hello Internet, welcome back to the Digital Monster Club. My name is Mark and this is Minecraft Monday. And today's video is about Strongholds. So first of all, get yourself a good explorer setup. So armor, weapons, torches, food, water bucket if you need it, bow and arrows if you need it. Enchanted is definitely a recommended. That's the word I was looking for. But armor. So diamond is definitely preferred here. It's just the stronghold is going to act a lot like an abandoned mine, where there's going to be a lot of monster spawn possibilities. So you want as much protection as you can get. So first of all, strongholds. Just found this out. There's actually 128 in a generated world. In the Java edition.
Strongholds will spawn at distances of about 1,500 to 2,700 meters, 4,500 to 5,800, 7,500 to 8,900, 11,000 to 12,000, 14,000 to 15,000, 17,000 to 8,000, 20,000 to 21,000, and 23,000 to 24,000, approximately.
More are generated on the outer rings, and typically at about equal distance from one another on those rings, I want to call them. So for the first ring at 1,500-ish, there's going to be one every 120 degrees from the center. If you know your geometry, if your first ring is a circle and perfectly north of your start point was one stronghold, then the next stronghold that would spawn in that ring would be 120 degrees from there. On an angle, of course. Kind of difficult to explain, or not difficult, tricky, but it makes sense. There, you can check the Wikipedia on it. It explains, it shows it better. Second thing, finding strongholds. You're gonna need something called an eye of Ender. Now, an eye of Ender is an interesting object because it serves three purposes. One, you use it, it floats up into the air, and then it has a 20% chance of shattering, or just drops to the ground, in which case you can pick it up and reuse it again. But the direction that it moves indicates where the nearest stronghold is. It used to also point to an abandoned mine. I know it did that in one game I played, but that's the primary use of an eye of Ender. Second use is that if you take these, when you get to a stronghold, you can slot these into the end portal that is there. They're empty, what do I call them? End portal blocks. And you put an eye of Ender in, and when you fill in the whole thing, the end portal appears. And the third use is for end crystals, which are used to summon the end dragon, which I'll get into later. But that's the big thing. However, eye of Enders have a big drawback. It is combination of an ender pearl and blaze powder. Not blaze rod, blaze powder. So getting blaze powder isn't the big problem, since it's you get 2 blaze powder out of 1 blaze rod. But ender pearls only drop from endermen, and when you kill endermen, they don't always drop them. So you're gonna need to kill a number of them. Another problem with it is that because these can shatter, you either want a decent supply, or you want to save your game before or after uses, or you can for PC, at least, if you type in /seed, it brings up the list of numbers. If you copy that down, start a new game in Creative, and put that seed, you will load the exact same world that you're playing in. And then if you fly around with, an unlimited source of Ender Eyes, oops, yeah, whatever, you can just figure out pretty easily where the strongholds are. Well, that's that. But, yeah, those are the 3 main options that I would use for finding strongholds. Now, once you get close to your stronghold, the Ender Eyes Eye of Enders will behave a little differently. They will actually float down to the ground to give you a more precise location. So, at that point, you gotta dig. And, do not dig straight down, because you can still find your way into lava. And that's not helpful. Now, strongholds can actually spawn... can spawn into... can spawn cutting into bedrock, and they can also spawn cutting into the ocean. They won't spawn above world, or at above sea level, I should say. But they can spawn exposed to air, with rooms exposed to air, I should say. It's really down a bit, so if you don't find it immediately upon starting digging, don't worry. Was I off? I was off. Dang. Okay. So, we have found a stronghold. And we found monsters too. This is where your torches come in very handy. Do not be afraid to use them. I'm going to change that weather. Oops. That's starting to annoy. Alright. So, darn it. Ah! Stronghold setup isn't too terrible. It's going to be kind of like an abandoned mine. You got to figure out a way to keep track of where you are. There's... on the bottom right there. There is a programming method to how it's set up, but there's no like in-game map for it, or any kind of I think what to say here, like in-game reference for the layout. There's no directions in the game that'll tell you how it works. But here's the few of the things you can find in here in the Stronghold are a library, which we found, which will typically have a chest with books, enchanted books, and paper. There'll be an end portal room, which I talked about, which is the big reason to come for this place. The Stronghold will generate... Here it is. End portal room. Will generate rooms with, or basically fountains, I should say. And that, what the hell? Yeah, like I said, it can be exposed to air. This generated right into a cave system, and the cave systems or ravines or whatever will cut over that. But the pillar room generate, and this is an altar chest, I believe is how they called it. Let's see. Yeah. Find the fountain room. Yeah. So it's like they are fun to explore actually. Just be very careful of the monsters because it's, you know, your typical monster setup of zombies, skeletons, and creepers. However, there's an additional enemy that only reveals itself if you're doing a specific thing, and it's called silverfish. Here, let me find the block and just show you. I can't do it in creative. When the silverfish block is broken, a little kind of looks like a crab or a insect basically just pops out and will start attacking you. Now, one on its own is not bad. A group of them, that's kind of tricky to deal with. But they only show up if you destroy their blocks. So if you come to a stronghold to mine out the blocks, be careful of that. If you're not mining out the blocks, you're okay. Now, something else to keep in mind is silverfish will actually destroy non-infested blocks, which is basically any. It'll be smooth stone. It'll be. This is a jail, by the way. They'll destroy smooth stone, stone bricks, mossy stone bricks, cracked stone bricks, cracked mossy stone bricks. Just as part of their programming. So if you are building something creative and you accidentally lay down infested stone bricks, good luck. Because they have a mission once they find it. Now, this room... Is this supposed to be a fountain? This doesn't... It's not familiar. going back to the end portal room, if I can find it. Here it is. So, end portal room typically has a spawner in it, silverfish. So make sure you break that as soon as possible. Be careful of the lava, specifically this lava, and I would highly recommend that you wall up the lava and provide your own source of light in the room. That way you stay safer. Now these are the end portal bricks I told you about. There's a chance that like 1 to 4 of them will be filled, but the rest you have to fill in yourself. Woo! Using your eye vendors. And it creates an end portal, which is kind of scary. Kinda. Now it follows its own, as you can see, it follows its own layering effect, where as long as you're going to see the same thing no matter where you look at it from, while the rest of the game moves around you. But yeah, that's Strongholds in a nutshell. It's a good way of getting your hands on iron grates, stone bricks, mossy stone bricks, cracked stone bricks. There's some decent loot in the chest. Mostly, like, the best stuff is going to be diamonds, gold ingots, iron ingots, horse armor, enchanted books. But it's nothing like golden apples is the big one probably. But it's not going to be like the best method of getting them, obviously. The horse armor, yeah, but it is what it is. You gotta still Minecraft, gotta grind a little bit. Now, the other thing I want to tell you about is that because the Stronghold spawns so far away, if you want to work at, where was it? Adventure. Maybe? No. No, not there, no. Whatever. There's a advancement, or on a console version, there's an achievement for traveling a kilometer on a rail in a minecart. So what I did in my console edition was I found the ender room, and then I dug up to the surface. And then once you get up to the surface, you build up. I'll show you when I get there. Okay, so now that you're at the surface, what you do is you're going to build a structure that goes up and up like a ladder until you get to 100 blocks. Okay, 100 blocks. Oh, not one. So obviously, this would be a good thing to build in the direction of your base rather than just coming straight out of the room the way I did. But the idea here is if you build a rail system, you can take it straight down into the base, and you can cover, not like this, but you can cover your track system so that monsters can't get at you, or mobs in general can't get into the track system, because it'll stop your cart, or you have to push your way through it. Doing this, you can basically just avoid everything and get back into the stronghold. Now, why would you want to do this, you ask? Well, the end area is got some interesting stuff in there. There's a city, and there's a boss fight, and there's a bunch of Endermen. So if you intend to farm on that and you think you might die a bit, having a quick transport system back to the stronghold certainly helps. Or if you intend to use your world to help other players, like I did in my console version for a while, a rail system is very helpful for just getting there and getting it over with quick as you can. Oh, and the reason that I said to go to 100 blocks in the air, you can go higher, but it's a lot more time and effort. The reason that I did 100 because there's very few things that will spawn at 100 level, other than generates at 100 level, other than extreme hills, or extreme mountains, I should say. So those mountains are at 100 and above, but forests and most of the landscape will stay down typically at the 64 mark. And there are a few passive mobs that are going to climb up to this height, or try to, if you have it open. So the only thing you have to do really is just make sure that you light this well. And I'll go over the rail system in a different episode. But that is Strongholds in a nutshell, as well as getting there. And I hope this helps. So thank you for watching. And hope you learned something from this video. And I hope you come back for more. So until that happens, take care.